Hi everyone, welcome to another Lehigh Valley adventure. Today, I'm going to explore my hometown, Macungie. Now Macungie means bear swamp, but it is a beautiful day, so let's just go right outside my place and let's explore this beautiful town. Macungie is located in western Lehigh County. It is home to Allen Organ, a worldwide manufacturer of organs that actually built an organ for Notre Dame Cathedral in Paris. Macungie is also home to a main manufacturing facility for the truck company Mack Trucks. A while ago, I filmed a video of an abandoned Wise here in Macungie, which has now been torn down to make way for a Lehigh Valley Health Network Health Center. Well, next door to the Wise is a Turkey Hill, or rather was a Turkey Hill mini mart, and it has since closed down. Here's the outside of the abandoned Turkey Hill that closed. This is, as you can see, a fairly newer prototype of Turkey Hill. Not the old style that you see in smaller towns like Slatington, and up in Hereford there is, I know, one of the older style Turkey Hills. But Wawa has a location just a little ways down next to the health center, so obviously they just couldn't compete. I mean, they competed with them for many years, but it was just so hard to do, to compete against Wawa. And we'll take a peek inside. Or rather through the windows. You can see the old fridges and freezers. They had a lot of ice cream that they stocked and sold. Little ice cream sundae cups. But I'm really a Wawa person since Wawa has so much food options. But you can let me know in the comments if you were ever a fan of Turkey Hill, or if you continue to go to Turkey Hill. I know there is one on Lehigh Street next to the old brass rail, but it is next to a Sheetz, and I know that old brass rail is being torn down for a Wawa, which would not seem strange if there wasn't a Wawa already a few blocks down on Lehigh Street. But I don't know if they're going to close that Wawa or keep it open and have both, but it wouldn't surprise me if they keep both open. But anyway, here's inside the Turkey Hill. And they had another entrance on the side, so they'll peek in from here. Better view, or maybe not, of the soda fountain with Coke and Sprite logos still on there. This was a sandwich area where they had little grab and go sandwiches. Next to it is the main post office, the Macungie post office, which is a nice big modern post office. And this is the back side of the Turkey Hill. Not much obviously to see, but over in the distance you can see the new Lehigh Valley Health Network Health Center that I was telling you about. That was the former Wise supermarket that I toured. As I mentioned in that video, Wise did relocate across the street to a very modern store. It's very nice. There's actually a pub where you can actually get beer, and they actually have music on, live music on certain nights of the week. And actually, they actually have bingo as well. That's a new public storage facility that they opened in Macungie. I don't know how I feel about that, but sort of changes the landscape, but there's still a lot of character to Main Street, and we'll go take a walk down Main Street and we'll head to Kalmbach Park, which is one of my favorite parks to walk. Here's another view of the Turkey Hill as I'm walking down towards Main Street. That's our local Rita's Italian Ice. It does seem like every borough or town in Lehigh Valley does have a Rita's, which is nice, I think, because if you need a place to cool off, get something to cool off, it's nice to have a Rita's. Of course, there's many great local ice cream shops in the Lehigh Valley, so if I were just going to get some soft serve, I'd probably choose one of the great shops like Countryside, which is up the road from here on 100. It's a great place to go, and a great view as well to get a milkshake or soft serve or even a burger. We're now crossing the railroad tracks. There's a nice park here with garden, and you can actually sit and wait for the trains to come, and it's really fun to see the trains go by. And I also hear the trains in my place at night, so you know, you get used to them after a while, but it's really a lot of fun. And here's a bear saying welcome. And they have a nice little area you can sit and watch the trains, and lots of people do. Lots of people get their cameras out and sit there all day and board the trains as they go by. Beautiful Macungie, Main Street. Here's an old awning for a place that doesn't exist anymore. Now heading on this beautiful path down to Kalmbach Memorial Park. Now there are two parks here in Macungie. There's the regular Memorial Park, which is across the street, and that's just your general park. Has a swimming pool, playground. They have a lot of events throughout the year, a lot of craft fairs, and their big festival, in case you didn't know, every August is Dawsock Fest, and what that is an old antique car show. So if you like old cars, that's the place to go. They do charge admission, but you can look it up. They also have another festival, Wheels of Time, and that is another old car show. So people from all over come to Macungie for the old cars. But Kalmbach is a really pretty little park, great place to walk a dog or just walk. It's not a big park, but I came in junior high as a field trip, and I remember it fondly, but I hadn't been for many, many years. And then when I moved to Macungie Borough, I lived in Lower Macungie, I went and visited it again, and I walk it quite a bit because it's so peaceful. And right outside my backyard, I don't have to drive, which is nice. So anytime I just want to go for a walk, I just go out of my place and walk to Kalmbach Park. It's not that far, and it's really pretty and peaceful, as you will see. Now what's really cool around Christmas time is they have a festival, or rather a little gathering called the Macungie Winter Holiday, I believe it's called. And here at Kalmbach Park, what they do is they have a house where you can go in, and they have a gingerbread house competition where you can see gingerbread houses on display. But all throughout Macungie, they have businesses that are open that you can go check out. And they actually, at Borough Hall, they have the Grinch in jail. So you can go interact with the Grinch, who is put in a jail cell, and you can interact with him. So it's really a fun time. They have an art school where you can go in and see the students' paintings. And so it's just a great time to walk around Macungie and get in the festive spirit. But you can see we are approaching Kalmbach Memorial Park. A book or have a book to bring, there's a nice little free library. There are QR codes that you can scan to learn more about the various plants that are located here in Kalmbach Park. fairy rock garden, which is pretty cute. You have a rock that's not painted, bring one back painted, it says. Down here before. I didn't know they actually had a bird flying, should I say. That's pretty cool. See if we see any birds. So I'm gonna walk back now. Maybe we'll walk through Macungie Memorial Park before we head back home. I should mention that they do have other events at Kalmbach Park throughout the year, like author events and other things, so you can check their website and find out more. So this was an ice cream shop, and for a short-lived time, a hot dog shop, but it's nothing now. This is just Macungie Memorial Park. And this is the Borough Hall where they hold craft fairs. So imagine these grounds with lots of antique cars every August. So if you're a fan of antique cars, this is absolutely the place to be. Again, it's called Das Fest. And up ahead is the swimming pool where I go every year to swim. And Macungie Park has its own band shell. Being a fan of live music, I wish they would use it a little more, but they used to have musical acts during 4th of July, like the Macungie Band would perform, but they don't use it as heavily now. But I guess they do use it during Das Fest. They have a lot of live musical acts, and they play here. As we walk back on Lombard Street, you'll see there's a big grassy area over here to your right. I did look online because I like to look up and see what the latest commercial development projects are. And this land did come up as a development project. They're gonna apparently wanna build a building with some retail, a little retail strip with possibly a coffee shop or some other businesses. So that could be interesting. I didn't know it was big enough to do that, but apparently it is. There's a developer page, you can look that up. And over here on this area is home seasonally to the Macungie Farmers Market. So if you're looking for some fresh produce, it's every Thursday, I believe. They do change it occasionally, but I believe it's Thursday from like 4 to 7. I timed it right. We got there just in time for a train. So I hope you enjoyed this walk around my hometown. Have you ever been to Macungie? Do you live in Macungie? What do you think the old Turkey Hill should become? Just let me know in the comments. Have you ever been to Das Fest? Do you like antique cars? Let me know. And I hope to see you again soon for another Greg's Lehigh Valley adventure.